Hi, today we're going to do something different. We'll still learn a few things, but mostly you're going to assist me in making an astrological research. And I've never done this before, so I'm quite excited. I hope you're excited to participate as well. And I'll very much rely on your feedback, on your comments to help me make astrological history. We're going to investigate a new planet which is beyond Pluto. So far, there are 9 planets. Pluto is still a planet, even though they say scientifically it's not, but astrologically it does work very powerfully. And anyone who understands a bit of astrology, they know how powerful Pluto transits are. And recently, scientists have discovered a planet beyond Pluto, which is quite substantial, has quite substantial mass. They haven't seen it per se, but they have calculated its exact position because of the vacillation it causes in the movement of the planets, like Pluto and Uranus and Neptune, the last planets. It's very correct, precise positions of this planet. It's a planet which moves very, very slowly. It takes 700 years to make a full circle around the sun. It's called, let's call it Transpluto. They call it Isis, Persephone. Everyone has different names for it. But let's investigate what its influence is. And in the last 70 years, this planet has been staying only in the sign of Leo. So only Leos can help me do this investigation. Anyone who have their ascendant, their moon, or their sun, or even Venus in the sign of Leo, these will be the people that I want to help me investigate what this Transpluto planet is. Transpluto, let's call it TP, apparently this planet, there's been astrological investigation going on from some really esteemed astrologers, which have some very good results already. And you help me see if this is true. So basically, every planet of the known planets rules one sign. And there are 12 signs in astrology. So far, we have only 10 planets because we include the sun and moon as planets in astrology. They each rule one sign, and Mercury, Venus, after that Mars, after that Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. There are 10 signs covered already, and according to esoteric sources, according to wise people and hidden knowledge, there should be another 2 planets which haven't been discovered, because each sign should be ruled by one planet. Basically, in the 18th century, we found Uranus. In the 19th century, we found Neptune. In the 20th century, we found Pluto. And now in the 21st century, we should be finding Transpluto, which many people call Isis. And according to investigation, it rules Virgo, because Virgo and Taurus are the other 2 signs which don't have particular planets to rule them. They are ruled by this, they have basically, it rules them traditionally. Virgo is traditionally ruled by Mercury, but astrologers have done investigation and have noticed that the position of Transpluto brings very powerful Virgo qualities. And let's investigate if this is true. Basically, I'm giving you, you have to go to my website, first of all, astrolada.com, where there is a birth chart calculator there. Enter your time, place of birth. If you don't know the time, just enter the year, the month, and there'll be a table that comes up to you, and below there'll be like a little table which says which planet is in what sign and what degree. And I want you to pay attention if you have your ascendant in Leo, your moon, sun, or Venus in Leo, and mark down the degree which they are in Leo. Or do you know someone who is Leo? Maybe your father or mother is Leo. Maybe your best friend. It's even better not to investigate on your own horoscope, but to invest on someone else, because people were much more better judgments of other characters than our own character. So do you know someone who is a Leo, who was born in August? Usually their sun means their sun was in Leo. Or maybe you know your friend who has a Leo moon, or you just enter the date of someone you know, and see if they have a particular planet in in Leo. In particular, the ascendant, moon, and sun are very powerful. And mark down the degree, and I'm giving you the degrees of each year where Transpluto was situated. For instance, the year that I was born, 1981, I think Transpluto was at 18 degrees at 18 degrees Leo, oops, well, sorry, at 18 degrees Leo, which means that anyone born around 1981, like me, who has a sun or ascendant or moon around 18 degrees Leo, will have a very strong characteristic of this planet, the Transpluto planet. And you can give or take 5 plus minus 6 or 7 degrees before or after the exact degree for the year. You know, say 1981, it's at 18 degree Leo. Some few years before it was at 7 degree Leo or something. It's moving very slowly. But if you see at the year that the person was born, that I'm giving here on the side of the screen, if you see that the year 1981, your friend was born, say with the sun at 24 degrees Leo, you see that there is 6 degrees, from 18 to 6 degrees. So it's within conjunction, it's within the allowed 6 or 7 degrees that we're allowing for the ascendant moon, sun, or Venus for this reason, to be next to this Transpluto planet. And what the investigation of Lynn Conyer, a wonderful astrologer that is fantastic, investigate shows so far, is that people who have their ascendant moon or sun very close to that degree of Transpluto for the relevant year, I'm just showing here for the year 1981 that it was around 18 or 70 degrees Leo. If someone has any of those, they show actually qualities much more of a Virgo. So they're described by their best friends. Such people were described as fastidious, as fussy, as very much order inclined, and very much inclined for, Virgo qualities about purity, order, and, everything to be at its own right place, for example. And such people were described to be more critical, to be more self-critical as well. Virgo qualities, how they can manifest. If you have Transpluto next to the ascendant moon or sun, you would have probably noticed, do you notice that you know someone who is a Leo, but they don't behave much as a Leo? For instance, their sun is there, and they behave much as a Virgo, much more nitpicking, more critical, a little bit less confidence. Virgo is a sign because it's a critical sign, and because Virgo energy, the Transpluto energy, as they say, which rules Virgo, it's a bit of self-criticizing. So such people will be, because when someone is criticizing all the time, they're feeling like they're under the microscope and everyone is watching them and everyone is judging the smallest mistakes, and they're the biggest criticizer, first of all. It's within themselves. Such people tend to lack self-confidence, so they can be, you probably have seen Leos that were not very leonine, that didn't have much self-confidence. And if you check for the year, the degree of their sun, what degree their sun was situated in, and which at that year where Transpluto was, if it was within 6 or 7 degrees, you probably have the influence of this Transpluto planet making them. But you tell me, if you've observed that, or if you've observed it in yourself, for instance. And such people, as I said, Transpluto with the sun, for instance, or with the moon or the ascendant, they'll have a lot of confidence issues because of this very strong inner critique within themselves, or maybe a strong influence of a very critical parent or influence early in their life, someone who was telling them you're not good enough, you should do better, you should better. For instance, if it's with the moon, it might be the mother, with the sun, it might be the father, but it's not necessary so. It might be that the inner, their inner self is very self-critical. And how this manifests is like the person has low self-esteem or self-worth, or is always judgmental on themselves and never thinks they're good enough, or the other, and they can be frozen to do things, And the other positive extreme is that the person pushes themselves more and more to succeed, always perfectionist, always making sure everything is done to their best ability. So they're very good. So there'll be someone who is very meticulous and very ordered and very, kind of exemplary person, someone who pushes themselves strongly. For instance, my boyfriend has moon with Transpluto within 2 or 3 degrees, and he's definitely like that. He's like always to the dot, everything should be perfect. He's very self-critical. In early age, he had problems with confidence, but it gets better with age and compensate. And such people overcompensate by being perfect and by being exemplary. I have Transpluto with Moon within 7-8 degrees, but it's in my 7th house of relationships, so I tend to project that energy, and I've noticed it is very powerful. I tend to attract boyfriends who are either Virgos, who have a lot strong Virgo in their horoscope, or who are just very much clean freaks and they want to order me around to be the same, which, it's a bit harder for me, but definitely I've noticed issues with self-confidence, with a very strong self-critique, feeling that you're under the microscope, especially in early age, like everyone is observing you, everyone is watching you and saying, oh, she's not good enough, or that's not good enough. So you kind of almost might be stifling or really blocking for the person. And have you noticed people like that you're wondering, why aren't they overconfident like Leos are supposed to be? They have Leo ascendant or Leo moon or Leo sun, but there's such self-critic, or someone who's constantly, the other way it can manifest is the person constantly criticizing others because they become defensive. They don't want others to criticize them first because they criticize themselves strongly. So they go then, they criticize others more. They always find faults with others. They always try and fix others. Have you noticed, if you have Transpluto close to ascendant, moon, or sun, such themes of trying to fix things, to trying to always improve things, to tell others what to do, how it is better. And because of this critical nature of inclining towards perfectionism, Transpluto, when it's close to one of the planets with the ascendant, is supposed also to make a person who tends to alienate a little bit, according to the investigation of Lynn Connier, because such people would tend to be, because of the strong self-critic within, they don't want to be feeling under the attack of others, because they're probably constantly feeling under the microscope, as they said. So they kind of tend to distance themselves and alienate themselves from others sometimes, or alienate others through their criticism. They're in a conflict, but as I said, they can be a really great perfectionist people, that they can make great achievements in life. Another thing that might be a theme of topic with these people who have Transpluto close to any of those ascendant, sun, or moon, it might be that the desire, the need in their life for purification. Virgo is a sign of purification and purity. Maybe they were not clean from the start, for instance, I definitely was not, but there might be like a key moment in their life that pushes them, and that life pushes them in the direction to purify themselves physically through health, through foods, through stopping alcohol, cigarettes, anything that is kind of dirtying of the body, or health regime. So this can be a big theme with people about purification, about self-improvement, about pushing themselves always a notch further. If they are not hard on themselves, it's like life will force them in such situations to purify more and more, to get healthier, to get more pure life, more honest life. This is the Virgo qualities, the Virgin. And they might be also, especially if Transpluto is close to Venus, Venus is the planet of relationships, there might be the syndrome of the whore and the virgin, like a battle within these people, especially in our culture, which is so much more about, free sexual relationships. And for such people with Transpluto next to Venus, there might be a battle within themselves towards purity, sexual purity, towards I'm not saying literally virginity, but something to do with morality around relationships, purification of relationships, or the syndrome of the virgin and the whore, for instance. So women who have it next to their charts, they might be veering from one extreme to another. In some situations, they're the virgin. In some situations, they're the whore, and they have this fight within themselves. But the ultimate purpose of Transpluto would be the purifications of the lower desires, because it is the sign of the Virgin after all. And so please say, have you noticed such qualities in people who have Transpluto close to the ascendant, moon, or sun? Have you noticed this criticizing nature, or this lack of confidence nature coming because, or doubting themselves and doubting because of this scrutinizing eye they always have, or perfectionism or nitpickiness. In extreme cases, they're critical and nagging, which is quite annoying, trying to fix everyone. In other cases, is they turn it onto themselves, and they're like not happy always within themselves and asking for more and more. In the best cases, these are exemplary people of purity. Apparently, Lynn Conyer also noticed that people who have planets close to, planets, ascendant, sun close to Transpluto, they might suffer from autoimmune system problems because the body turns onto itself. You're self-criticizing. Say you have a very strong self-critic, and the body kind of from the self-criticism turns and starts eating itself out. Well, hopefully it's not going to happen to me, but I definitely identify so strongly with those themes. And in my case, they're projected through partners because they're in the 7th house, but for many other people, they would feel them within their own life. And the theme about purification, purity of the body, of the mind, that Virgo requires. So please share with us, please, if you have a sun or moon or ascendant, have you noticed these themes in your life? If you have not noticed them, then maybe this investigation, will make history and will say it's not right, actually, and to let it go. But right now we're making history together, so participate in this research. I'll be so interested to read what your observations are, and check friends of yours, and let's see if we've discovered the ruler of the planet, of the sign Virgo. Thank you.